What's up guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to fully AFK Vindicta in relatively cheap gear. So with this method of AFKing, you're able to get anywhere from like 30 to maybe 37 kills per hour depending on your gear. And that gets you somewhere around 15 mil an hour in uniques alone. So this could be upwards of 20 mil an hour. So the requirements you are going to need to do this are 95 prayer for soul split and turmoils, 99 plus invention to get some of the good perks. You probably would want 120 so you have good chances to get the best perks, but I think you could probably get some of the best perks around level 99. You need 100 plus herblore because you need to be able to get elder overload salves, and this is the lowest level you need to be to boost up to 107 for salves. You also need 96 magic, and this is for the exsanguinate spell. And you also might want to use something like blood blitz if you need a little bit more healing. You're also going to need the quests, the Temple and City of Seniston, so you have access to the new ancient spells and curses. So this is the inventory and gear setups that I used. I have two different ones set up, a budget and a more expensive one. And this one is the budget one. You can see I just need 2 pieces of cbloom, and then I also just have Ganodermic armor. So this setup works, but only on the Vampirism aura, and you probably want to put an HP alert up at like 30%, so you know when to use an Excalibur or eat an emergency food or something. Sometimes it will hit you kind of a lot. Usually when it's range hits really hard, you will take a lot of damage and you might need to eat, but usually that's only like 2, maybe 3 times an hour. And if you have a better god book or anything better like Sea Singers, it would be way more AFK. So the perks I used were pretty much just standard DPSing perks, but then also I had Absorbative 4. This perk is really strong because you get hit a bunch of times here, and you're able to reduce damage a lot of times on a bunch of hits. So if you don't have a Zuck cape, you can see some perks I have on screen here are Precise 6, Equilibrium 1, and then Aftershock 4, Planted Feet. Since you don't have the Zuck cape, you're going to be building a lot of adrenaline, and you want to get the most out of your sunshines. Whereas if you have the Zuck cape, you use Omnipower a lot and you don't really sun a ton, at least not with this setup I found. So you can see the inventory I'm using is pretty standard. It just has a few emergency food, some salves, and then potion reservoirs, and then the penance powder, and pretty much just your Excalibur and shard. So I think the Excalibur is really important for this because sometimes you do get hit a lot, and the Excalibur comes in really handy. So as far as weapons go, you might be able to get away with the Cyware Wand and Orb here, but I'm not sure. You definitely need Concentrated Blast, and even then I'm not sure that this would work with the Ganodermic setup. But you definitely could use a Nox Staff and an Inquisitor Staff, and you also might be able to use an Obliteration Staff. So for the high tier, more expensive gear setup that I have 3 pieces of cbloom, and then 2 more pieces of high tier tank armor, which I just have Octo on. You could use cbloom, you could use probably Superior Sea Singer. I think that would be it. I don't think you could get away with Ganodermic. So for the perks that I used, it was pretty much just completely standard high-end PVMing perks. You can see there, Relentless 5 Crackling. That's a really, really good perk to have for this. The inventory is pretty much the exact same as the previous inventory I showed. And this works on any aura. I tried this off aura and it seemed to work just fine. I tried it with Kerapac's gloves to increase the DPS and it worked pretty well. I didn't really notice much of a difference though. So as far as the weapons go, I used dual wield Praisals with Concentrated Blast, and I found this paired really well with the full book. So the full book is like a mini Zerg. So it's pretty strong to use this if you can survive with it, but obviously any other god book would be fine. I also found the Inquisitor staff worked pretty well here as well. It was a comparable kill time to the Praisal Wand, but I found the fastest kill times were higher with the Inquisitor staff. And then obviously have a Zuck Cape. This it's really strong, especially with this setup and a adrenaline boosting aura. I found you were able to get off plenty of Omni powers and Sunshine in the middle of a kill pretty much every single time. The necessary buffs you're going to need are going to be Elder Overload Selves in a Potion Reservoir. So you definitely want Elder Overloads for this because all of these small stat boosts definitely add up to make it more AFK and get faster kills, and the kills aren't super fast here, so you definitely want to get more kills per hour. The reason that you want a Selve is because you need the passive prayer gain from Selves, and I found this was the only way to get the amount of prayer you needed when AFKing. Otherwise you would have to manually click on something like a super prayer renewal. So speaking of prayer, the penance powder, again, for this is wild. This stuff is so good and it makes it completely AFK, where you never have to drink any prayer. So obviously you're going to need Animate Dead. Make sure this doesn't turn off because you will die. So set up alt one-timers for that and probably your Overload. And then you are also going to need a legendary pet. I found Vindicta dies all over the arena, and half the time, even if it dies right next to you, it's still not in range to area loot. So I just use a legendary pet to loot here. You could use something like a Ripper Demon if you wanted faster kills, but I don't know. I found it really annoying after every kill, which is like every 2 minutes or something, to have to manually loot. So the legendary pet is really, really nice here. So once you have all of your gear together and everything, all you have to do to start this is turn on your potion reservoir, use your penance powder, turn on your god book and aura, and then just animate dead, and you're good to go. So I have 2 action bars up on screen right now. One is for the higher tier setup, and the second one is for the lower tier setup. So the only real difference between these two is the second one doesn't have as much capability to Sunshine because it's using Debilitate. But the first one doesn't need Debilitate at all, so it's able to have way more adrenaline to use, and it usually is able to Sunshine mid-kill. So a few little things that I want to note about this is, firstly, it seems like Vindicta takes a really long time to start attacking you, like sometimes up to like 6 seconds. So if you're fully AFKing this, all of your kills are going to be just on their own 4 seconds longer. Just because it takes Vindicta forever to actually start attacking you, especially if you're like not right next to where she spawns in the instance. She just like walk over and then she'll like sit there and do nothing for like 4 seconds. So a few other things I want to note here is this gear is really mix and matchable. Like this setup that I'm currently using that you see is pretty much the lowest tier you can get away with. But if you have like 3 pieces of Crit Bloom or any other higher tier tank armor, that would work a lot better. And you'd probably even be able to take Debilitate off your bar, which increases your DPS and decreases your kill times by quite a bit. So if you can find a way to take Debilitate off your bar, that's definitely the way to go. And if you don't have a Zuck Cape, I do think it is really important to have Planted Feet, because you'll probably have a Sunshine up at the start of the kill, like fairly early into the kill, and having a longer Sunshine is definitely going to bring those kill times down. That is my video on AFKing Vindicta. Hopefully this helps you guys get some lances and crests, and if this did help you, be sure to drop a like. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one.